Thank you, Alan.
Yep. So we kind of go through, and then literally this is a design step. It's called the takeaway, right? Like I'm getting them thinking about their dream here, right? Well, man, I would like some heat. Yeah, that'd be cool. And then I show a picture. Oh yeah, that looks nice. And, well, before I get to that, right? Let's make sure I can even do that, right?
Yeah.
So now your mind is on this, and you're like, please don't find anything up there. If we do find anything up there, you know, that now takes the priority. But they still really, really want this, which helps our chances of getting both, right? Because they want that, but they can't get that unless they fix this. They don't want to spend money on that, but they're going to have to because they want this. Make sense? It's a designed step, right? Before I can even look at this, let me go check. So we get up on the roof, right? We take all of our pictures outside, inside, all around, make sure, especially if you can reach it, like I think, you know, there's some safety, if you can reach it and you can get that, if they have a single flue cap and you can get that picture on top, looking down at the top of the cap, always take that picture, because I guarantee you 8, 9 out of 10 times, the edges of that single flue cap line up perfectly with cracks in the crown. Almost every single time. And it's going to be a way that you can upsell that cap to a full coverage cap, right? So always try to get that picture if you can reach it. I'm going to get back to the PowerPoint. I kind of got off on a tangent here. All right. So I'm going to come back to the roof here in a second. I'm just going to hit a couple other slides here. There are exceptions to this, but we should be scanning at pretty much every flue regardless of level, right? If it can be scanned, we should be scanning that. It's not like, well, hey, this is a level 1, I don't have to scan it. This is, you know, scan, that's where the money's at, right? I mean, you learned this 10 years ago, right? Scan every chimney, right? Positive language, 101. This is what we're looking for, what we want to see, right? If we find a problem, we go through the big 3, right? What this thing is, what it does, what happened to it. The good news is, and here's what happens if we don't address it. If you continue to use it, these are the things that could happen, right? If we find problems, discuss options, don't propose them, right? There's a lot of ways we could go about this. What would you like this to look like? They got to give me permission of what they want to see, right? I'm not going into saying, here's what I found, here's what you need to do. Here's what I found, here are the options, what sounds good to you, right? Putting them into the buying position, not into me selling to them position. Here is, so I have this rule, again, it's rule, call it whatever you want. No surprises at the proposal, okay? So, and I would write this down, no surprises at the proposal. At no point should you be bringing up new information for the first time at your sit down, right? Your customer should already know every problem they have, and they should have already told you every solution they would like to at least see. They're expecting it, right? If you go through and if you were, for example, if you were just to inspect everything, you didn't involve the woman's $300 that had her check written, and you found all those problems we just found, the smoke chambers unparched, the flues not done, there's bricks that need to replace, and then I sit down with you for the first time, and again, you already have your $300 check written, and I'm like, okay, Ms. Jones, let me tell you about all the shit that I found, and it's 10 grand, right? She's gonna lose her marbles, right? Everything's fine. She's on that far left of the implicit needs, right? So this is what happens whenever you don't involve your customer. Every single time, right? You guys have all seen these faces. What, right? Absolutely insane. You cannot overcome price and need at the same time. So important. You have to establish need first. Then you can get to price, right? Hopefully we build enough value before we give the price that our price is better than the number in their head. But if you try to tell them they have all these problems, they need this stuff, and it costs all this money, you paralyze them. They're overwhelmed. They can't make a decision. They're in shock. They're in an emotional state. And remember, we never want our customers making emotional decisions, right? We must have explicit needs before we propose. This part makes sense? Okay. No surprises, right? So we go up on the roof. Let's just say, what's the most common exterior stuff that you guys deal with here? What's an everyday type of job?
Crown.
Just mainly a crown?
No,
tuck pointing.
Tuck
Usually no cricket, so we don't get a flashing.
Okay. You guys do flashing or just do flash seals or?
We both.
Okay. So let's say we have a chimney that has a little bit of tuck pointing, maybe 2 or 3 bricks that have spalled, crown's cracked, and is over 30 inches without a cricket. Is that a standard type of deal? All right, let me see if I can. I'm having it here.
Times we got 3 flues and all of them recovered.
All of them recovered?
No, not all of them.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
No, actually pretty rare.
Yeah. There are a lot of dummy flues here.
Some.
We have a lot. We have some orphan flues, some orphan utility flues.
Yep. I'm just gonna see if I can find a couple of quick pictures to continue the role play. Terrible example. This is the most boring iPad ever. One more second here. Ooh, this is not what I was looking for, but you guys ever seen a brick pattern like this? Isn't that crazy?
Oh,
That was the easiest full coverage cap and water repellent I've ever sold in my life. I was like, you don't want to know how much I'm going to charge you if I have to rebuild that. So I don't even know how much I'm going to charge you. There's going to be a lot.
it's not going back like that.
Yeah. All right. This
Mason
is.
that did that has gotten sober, and they're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
He's into rehab.
Yeah. Yeah. What a goob.
He's
All
no
right.
longer traveling with the dead.
All right. This is not exactly what I want, but it's enough that we can at least have a conversation. So, airdrop. All right, so we're gonna say that, not that one, that this is your chimney,
There
Kevin.
you go.
So technically, this is not one that would need a cricket, but it's close enough. So all right, so Kevin, I just got off your roof. Mostly good news, to be honest with you. There are a couple things I am going to make a recommendation for. Most of the stuff that I found, one was an improper construction, but most of this is just due to water. Let me just kind of walk you through what I'm looking at here. So I don't know if you can see. Well, I know you can see all these cracks, but there's also a crack here on your tile. This is that flue tile, those little 2-foot sections we were looking at inside. This is the one that pops up at the top. So when they, this sort of concrete right here, and I'm not gonna go through the whole thing again, this is the big 3, right? This concrete here, that's the first line of the fence gets water. Basically there's no expansion joint, it's allowed water in. And typically the flue tile or the concrete will crack. In this case, both cracked. There was so much expansion because they didn't have that expansion joint in there that the tile cracked and then the concrete cracked, the mortar. So basically water is now able to get into this structure. Now, if you kind of look right here, you can start to see we're starting to get some cracks that are going down through your brick and into the mortar. Very, very early stages of this. Typically, if the cracks are not more than 1/8 of an inch, I'm not crazy concerned about needing to repair them because I do have a water treatment that will kind of act as a repellent or a sealant for that. But in this particular case, let's just pretend you had, these mortar joints right here. I mean, they're completely starting to go, which is just more places for water to get in. So again, nothing crazy. Now let me ask you guys this. Would you guys crown coat this? Yeah, okay, good. Thank you. You have no idea how many people that I work with that would crown coat this. Like, I swear they would. So basically, You know, this particular crown is really past the point of me being able to do any type of band-aids to it. Any sealant that I would put onto this would be temporary in nature. But since you said this was definitely a house that you weren't leaving anytime soon, I definitely would recommend that we just replace this concrete at the top so we kind of get no water coming in and don't make any of this worse. These joints pretty minor, but I'd like to get some new mortar in there. One of the construction things, let's just pretend that this long side is the chimney's turned this way and this was going down the roof. One of the things about any chimney that is over 30 inches, and yours it looks like 8, 16, 24, so yours is probably about 32, 34 inches. It's supposed to have what's called a cricket, and it's a saddle. Basically, it's a water diverter. It's like a big triangle behind your chimney so that when water runs down your roof, it diverts the water away from the chimney so that you don't have all this debris just building up right here and allowing water to come down. So again, I know the main thing that was you wanted to use the fireplace, but again, being that it's the type of insert that you wanted is metal, I would really highly recommend that we take care of some of these water intrusion points so we don't prematurely make that unit rust out. So if it's okay with you, what I'd like to do is just put together some numbers to fix this concrete, to fix a couple of these joints, look at basically getting that cricket on here, and then basically repelling this from having any more water damage. Would you like to at least see what that would look like?
Yeah, I'd like to look at that.
Okay, all right, perfect. So give me 20, maybe 30 minutes. I'm gonna go put together this report for you. Let me get some numbers together. And would you say your wife's name was Cassandra?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. Now, she's still at work or?
Yeah, she's still working.
Okay, perfect. So I'm probably gonna overwhelm you with a lot of information when I come back in. So I assume this is something that you and her will have a conversation about when she gets home from work. But if she's available to sit in whenever I come back in, may put you guys better on the same page before she gets home. So check in with her. I'll be back in about a half hour. We'll see kind of where things stand.
Okay.
So this is the whole idea of, I'm not going into crazy detail, right? I'm just no surprises, right? At this point, he knows that I am coming back with an insert proposal, a new crown proposal, a cricket proposal, a tuck pointing proposal, a water repellent proposal, right? This is all expected, right? So now, I always say, you know, what are they doing while you're working up your recommendations? What's going through your thoughts? Whenever I'm gone for the next 30 minutes, what's going on in your
I'm
head?
checking my bank account.
Yeah, right? Like, shit. Golly, I have the $300 check written, right? I had no idea at all. Like, how much is this this is terrible. Babe, we got a problem. Can't use the fireplace. There's holes in it. There's, you know, all this stuff. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, I don't know. He's working it up. This is a design step. It's called the marination period. Like, he's going through agony for the next 20 and 30 minutes waiting on me to come in and get the paint over, right? This is design. And when you guys currently don't allow him to relieve that pain, what does that do to the process? Whenever they say, well, I'll work on it and email it to you, like, it's so deflating, right? It's like, oh my God, no, dude, tell me, I need to know. Like, I want to take care of this.
Yeah.
Right? We build up all this urgency and we need to go back in and just finish the deal. Right? You guys see this? The importance of this?
Mm-hmm.
Could you imagine going the way that I'm doing all this and then me saying, all right, Kevin, well, I'll work it up, I'll email it to you and just let me know if you have any questions. That'd be the idea that's crazy to me, right?
What if somebody said, well, while you're working it up, is it ballpark like 10 grand to 15 grand? How do you handle that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so, it may be the next slide. Let me see. Let's see. That's the permission-based proposal. So here's what I'm thinking. Would you like to see numbers on this? So I'm going to answer that, but the stage 3 of the that was all kind of discovery, right? As a lot in discovery investigation. Stage 3 is demonstrating capability, basically establishing trust. Even if do I believe you, right? Do I trust you? Is this stuff that even if I chose to have it done, would I choose you, right? You have to pass this marker before you can even propose. Because if they don't like you, they don't believe you, they're like, this guy's slimy, he's full of shit. It doesn't matter what you propose, like they're never going to buy from you, right? So you got to kind of, again, what's the experience you're giving the customer? And Kevin should hopefully feel like I am not trying to sell him anything. I'm just here to make sure he understands the situation that he's in, what happened to it, and then how we can fix it to what he wants it to be. And if he doesn't fix it, you know, what that impact could look like. That should be the feeling, not that I'm trying to sell anything. So this is your guys' pledge, right? You have to, guys, you have to propose on the spot, right? If there are, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but if there are legitimate things that the office can fix to free up tech time, we can try to make that happen, right?
100%.
If they're having to spend 20, 30 minutes making up stuff in Service Titan that should be in Service Titan, we need to make that a priority to not waste that infill time. And it sounds like a lot of the time it may be on making up items and figuring out pricing. And so we need to make sure that that's an office function, not a field function,
That's
right?
true. And I've seen this more than I've ever seen it before, is we are not only not making the sale, we are teeing up the sale and handing it to our competition.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because your relationship is at a crescendo.
Yeah.
You've built the rapport, you've built the bond, they're excited, they love you, I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
So now you're gonna email the estimate and it starts to go like this.
That's right.
But hey, we should get a second estimate. Then the next guy should, even if the next guy isn't as good as you, he gets the sale.
That's right.
You just handed
Yep.
him your work.
Yep.
And I see it more than I've ever seen it before, because I see every response from the text messages.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting more proposals. Oh, we're getting a second look.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you have to finish it. There's a great old sales book, probably like 30 years old, called Second Mouse Gets the Cheese, right? And it's first mouse comes, oh cheese, yeah, I'm happy. Oh, lost my head, dead. Second guy comes in there, oh cheese, takes it,
yeah,
right?
exactly. Second
Yeah.
mouse gets the cheese.
Yeah. So it's like that's the whole idea of that, right? Is you build this up, but look, there are legitimate reasons that you don't propose on the spot. They usually fall in one of these categories. It sounds like your all's number one is time. Time is fixable, right? Like, why is it taking so much time? Like, office functions will fix, routing functions we can fix, or things like that. Sometimes it's knowledge, like, hey man, I'm just not even sure what to do here. I need to take this back to the team. I need to talk to my masons. Need to, kind of figure this out. It's a little bit more complex than I thought. There's no one there, right? Like, hey, there's no one at the house to present to. Then you got to set all that up. But I want you to write this down, please. Even if you have to email the proposal, even if you have to do it for some reason, please never do it without talking to them about it first. Please don't ever blindly just shoot over an email with numbers on it that the customer's not expecting.
Something I used to love is called the Columbo clause.
Mm-hmm.
Remember
Oh, yeah.
Columbo would leave and then
Yeah.
come back?
Yeah.
So before you send it, hey, just touching base with you, was that a black exterior mounted cap or did you want brown?
Yeah.
I want to make sure I get this right on the proposal.
Yeah.
I'm getting ready to send it over.
Yeah.
So it gives you, it's not like I'm checking up for the sale.
Right.
It's I've got your best interests in mind.
Yep.
And you're just reopening that, okay, I'm getting this done right now. Anyway.
Yeah, so just remember the customer didn't pay for your proposal, they paid for your inspection. Remember that. So, just email that to me, sir. I would love to, but it's kind of our standard policy that I will go through and actually walk our customers through the proposal, because it is a lot of information. I did send you a report that you paid for, that with all the findings, but for me to be able to take care of the problems that we found, it's very important that we kind of walk you through that, right? You do not have to ever send that to them, ever, right? If they don't want to call you, they're not going to take the time to even take 5 minutes with you to understand it. I'm not sending them the proposal.
But you've already lost it anyway.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be another number, right? They got 2 other quotes. They just want mine to compare, right? So just don't email it without talking to them. We can get to where we're working on the spot. That's what I really want you to do. But at the end of the day, do not email it to them without talking to them. So at this point, we go to the van. Kevin's in agony. He's calling his wife. He's checking his bank account. He's like, well, there goes our winery. And all this kind of stuff is like, where's the priorities in this? How much do we love this fireplace? All those kind of things, right? And in your mind, you're trying to create numbers, right? You're trying to say, God, how much is all this stuff going to be? How much is an intern? Maybe you're even on the internet. You're kind of looking at things. But the whole point is, this journey from $300 to, well, let's say we're going to be at roughly, I guess this type of job would probably be $12,000, $13,000 probably, right? So we got to take Kevin from $300 to $13,000, and I would say, based on your knowledge and what I've known right now, that you're in that probably 6,000 to 8,000 range. That's probably what you would expect, but on everything that I did. And I'm going to have to come 5,000, 6,000 above that. So if I were just to go in and tell him 13,000 right now, he will have a price reaction. He'll be like, oh, let me talk to the wife. I don't know, man, that's a lot more than I was expecting and all that. I'm going to get I already know I'm going to get all those objections, right? So I've got to bridge that 6,000 to 8,000 that he's got in his mind that he's still not even sure he wants to spend, but that's what he's thinking it's going to be, right? To 12,000, 13,000. And so when my presentation has to be strong enough to take that number in his head, going, oh shit, it's definitely 6,000 to 8,000. It's like going through. And again, he doesn't have to like my number. He doesn't have to buy. He just has to understand it, right? Just has to understand it. You don't have to like it. Just don't tell me I'm too much, right? That's how you get price objections thing. So one of the things that, I don't know if you have these now, guys, you can tell me, most companies I work with do not, is the photo stories, right? The photo stories are what I talked about with your production guys. That is not only having before and after photos, but having detailed progression photos of what this job is going to look like from start to finish. You have to have them. It's a critical part of the process. I can do it verbally, right? I can explain everything to you verbally, and it has some power, but there's nothing like pictures. Even better than pictures is if you create like a short little 30-second video, like just a time lapse, right? Of going through that. There's nothing more powerful than that. So show you, I've got permission from this guy to show these, the ones I've been showing you, but So this guy, he has some. Normally, I have them all in different pictures. This guy just kind of combined them into one. I'm trying to think of like even where's my scaffold? These are Class A chimneys, right? Just like when you see, man, it's not just putting a stove in. I'm opening the walls. I'm creating clearances. I'm building scaffolding. I'm doing all. I have to do scaffolding inside the house. I have to do all these kind of things, right? So different pictures of caps, right? I can't even see what some of these are. Like if you have to repoint, right? Like when I told you that, hey, you have just a couple of these little mortar joints that you need to fill, in your mind, like, okay, just a couple little mortar joints. But then I come in and I show you this picture here that, so basically I'm gonna have my guys, we're gonna have to mask up, we're gonna have a respirator, we're gonna have to do silica control. Basically they're gonna get a diamond blade grinder in there. If I just put mortar on top of your current chimney, it's not gonna bond. And like as soon as we have a freezing cycle, that mortar is gonna fall right out. So I've literally gotta get a diamond blade grinder and grind till I get out of the sand and into an actual hard point. And then you can see I'm literally tucking new mortar into that. So they're going to basically make sure that not only is this repair done, it's done right, and it's not going to a year later come out. Now, just by seeing these four pictures right here, whatever number you had in your head, I imagine just went up, right? Mm-hmm. But right, and so the more of this that you show, it's like, oh man. And then the second thing is like, I'm glad I don't have to do that, right? Like
on my roof.
On your roof. So. But all these little pictures, I like, different. These are what, prior fires. So the point is, start building these, right? Start building these albums. Put them into Dropbox, right? This is what your chase cover looks like. This is what it should look like. And then again, all the process photos in between. I'm trying to find. But you guys get the idea of what I'm talking about. Right, I mean, so, and you don't have to spend a ton of time on this. Your guys are out there doing these jobs right now, right? Just have them take pictures, put them in Dropbox, like in a morning meeting or something. Say, all right, hey, you're going to do a heat shield today. Can you take a picture of the guys mixing, the guys pulling the winch, the guys pouring doing the scratch coat, doing the can you just take all those pictures, right? Because again, if heat shield is just, hey, I'm pulling some mud up, a flue, how much can that cost? But when you see the 2 or 3 steps and the equipment and all that kind of, the mixing, the formula, all of a sudden that has, a lot more impact. So,
do you ever go into mitigation of current costs? Meaning, you're having, 300 to 400 cubic feet of air every minute to sustain combustion. With this new sealed system, the air you're paying to heat stays in your home,
Yeah.
and you're creating 40,000 BTUs of functional heat.
Yeah.
So over a course of, do you ever go into that, or is that just too much for them to
I
wrap
don't
their
go into
brain?
that detail, but I do talk about efficiency. Right?
Yeah.
I do talk about that. You know, one of the nice things about an open, or the bad things about an open fireplace is it is a big hole in your house, and you're basically heating and cooling the outdoor, even with the throat damper. They're not energy efficient. But with a contained system, we're able to stop that heat loss, and we're able to actually produce heat. And I do get into the EPA, right? I'm like, as much as we love the EPA getting involved in our business, in May of 2020, they got really involved with wood stoves, and they basically said you have to meet these criteria in order to have it. And the benefit to you is you're going to use about half the wood that you would have used pre-May 2020, right? I mean, they're a lot more efficient. Their goal was to get rid of black smoke to have a cleaner environment, and this will actually reburn the smoke, and so there are some benefits of that. Not only that, you're gonna put 45,000 BTUs of heat into your room, which will certainly reduce the use of your furnace or your boiler. So you're probably gonna see an impact on your utility bills there. That's about as detailed as I get. Questions so far?
Yeah, do you go over your setup before proposal too? Like when you're talking about the outside stuff, you talk about the setup we're gonna have to do to
Oh, yeah.
finish this work?
Yeah, at this point, I'm still in the van, kind of working stuff up, right? So the three things I do in the truck is I put together my inspection report, right? And my inspection report should be full of a lot of photos. It should not be a shit list. I can't tell you enough how much that bothers me. And if it is, I'm sorry, it's one of those little pet peeves is this industry has got into the mode of the only reason we do inspections is so we can sell the work. Which, yes, I get that's how we make a living, but people are paying $300. That's a lot of money for your inspection report. They're not paying $300 for you to tell them all the problems they have and what you need to do to fix it. They're paying $300 to understand the condition of their system, the good, the bad, the ugly. So when you go in and when you do your inspection report, if all you're talking about are the problems, that's a disservice. Right? You may have checked 80 things, but only 3 things were wrong. If the only things that you're talking about are those 3 things, you're losing all the value of the other 77 things that are right. Right? So it's very important that you do a full review, right? So when you come in, like even if it's the front of the fireplace, right? Ms. Jones, I know you see this every single day, right? When I see this, I see a firebox that's in good shape. I see a mantle that is far enough away from the opening of your fireplace that's not going to be an issue. I see your hearth extension is far enough out. I see you have a properly sized grate. I see all these kind of things that are good, right? On to the next picture, right? In this picture I see, you know what I mean? So don't just skip over all the good stuff, right? Because the good stuff can go bad if we don't fix the bad stuff, right? So we want them to know that, hey, this is not just me coming in there trying to sell you a bunch of stuff that's wrong. I did a very thorough job evaluating your chimney today, okay? So it is a pet peeve of mine when we go in and say, okay, well, here's what we're gonna do. And it's like, man, that's not, we're gonna sit down, we're gonna do an evaluation with you. So transitioning into stage 4, the close, right? So in the truck, we put together the inspection report with our photos. We should have clear documentation. We put together the photo story. Ideally, every single thing that you are going to propose, every line item that you have a proposal for, you should have a photo story for. So if you're going in there, in this case with a gas insert, a cap, a crown, tuck pointing, and flashing with cricket, you should have those 6 photo stories pulled up on your iPad, right? And you're going to walk them through. So, and then the last thing you have is your proposal. Right? You go ahead and work up all your numbers, have all that done, work it up in the van, and then again, the proposal should not be a laundry list. In this case, it should not be gas insert, flashing, cricket, crown, cap, right? It needs to be, you can still have that in there, right? But it's fixing and preventing water damage from the top of the chimney. It is fixing and preventing water damage from the masonry and mortar. It is providing proper water mitigation from the sides of the chimney. It is protecting the entire structure from water intrusion, right? Those are the types of things that we want our language to be, not here's a laundry list and here's how much those things cost. Make sense? Are we getting tired? There's a lot. There's a lot in it.
No, it's, you know, I have issues with migraines every now and then.
Oh shit, that's the
Sometimes
worst.
they're affected by light. It's okay.
Can we turn the lights off? You good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Need water?
If it gets worse, I'll step outside. And
All
I'll
right. Man, I had them as a kid. Luckily I grew out of them, but I would never wish that on
They're
anyone.
not fun. It's okay.
All right.
It's all good.
So these are the 3 things that we have worked up, and we're ready to basically go in and do our presentation. So let's take a 7-minute break. We'll come in, we'll talk about how we present and close, and then we'll spend another, probably after we do that, we'll spend half hour going through the